I've got back from Tasmania and then straight into some boat work. I planned on changing my boat rigging, standing rigging, so all the cables, stainless steel cables, had to be changed, and so the mast had to come down, and I needed needed to fix my headsail UV cover up, all that stitching along there. A new mainsail from Rolly Tasco, and I had to fit some cars to that for the luff cars, and also my sail bag needed some repairs done to it. Possibly needed to be replaced, but I just did some patches and repairs on it, all using my sailmate sewing machine. So the next couple of videos will be on that. Morning here at Flagstaff Jetty in Lakes Entrance. This is the morning where we're going to pull my boat's mast down. That's it there. Never done it before, but we've gone around and loosened all the stays, back stays, inner stays, shrouds, inner and lower and upper shrouds, and marked them all, measured the extremity of the turnbuckles. So, and we've put a sling up there. You can see it. So we had to do that out of the yard because it's a OH&S problem with not climbing up masts in their facility. It's called Gippsland Port's Bullock Island facility. So we've got a mate of mine here from the old agricultural college days. He's going to give me a hand. We're just waiting for them to do a little job on another boat. About 8:30 we'll get in there. So I'll try and take some footage as we go through it all. Am I feeling apprehensive? Just a little bit. We've got the facility is behind me over there somewhere. You might be able to see the blue crane on top of a treble lift. That's how it's going to come off. So basically you take all the stays out once the crane takes the weight up on the mast, and then start pulling the pins out, back stays first. I suppose we'll just move our way forward, and I think they will probably give us a bit of an indication. And then I've got to take the wires off the mast and send them down to the wire place in Painesville. So we've got this rolling furler's got a forestay inside it, so we're not going to pull that apart. So we're going to take that off and lay it down on the deck and motor down to Painesville, which is down the Gippsland Lakes, and give them this whole assembly with the other wires. That's the plan. So should be good. Looking forward to it. And we'll have a sports car. We'll have a sports car boat. Say good day, Lachlan. My mate Lachlan from Kununurra and Ag College days.
Hey boys,
he's going to give us a hand.
Hey boys,
he's going to give us a hand.
Hey boys,
he's going to give us a hand. We've got the travel lift and the crane on top. We manoeuvred toucan into the travel lift bay and secured on each side with a couple of lines. When the travel lift comes in, you really got to watch out for that rolling furler or the forestay on the frame of the crane, that it doesn't contact. So we attached the crane to the sling and then started going up with it, but we then started taking out the cap shrouds and the lower shrouds and then the inners, and we left the backstay and the forestay to last. Once we had the weight of the mast on the crane, we took the backstays out and also the forestay. Our backstays got wrapped up on the mast, and the forestay was held separately with a tag line. Butting the mast into a block of wood and pivoting off that block worked really good with laying the mast down. We had a few difficulties. We ended up cracking that anchor light, and so we had to replace that, and also we laid the rolling furler out in front, which didn't work very well. You need to lay it back with the mast. It's about a 3-hour ferry to take all the standing rigging down to Paynesville. You can see the rolling furler on there as well, and it ended up taking like a month to get all this until he had enough time to do it, and so we had a few other jobs to do on the mast while we waited. Thanks, Lockwood. He gave me a good hand, and everything went well. All the wires for the rigging and the forestay furler with the furler on it back to Paynesville, to Webster Marine, to Red, who's doing my rigging wires. And Lachlan's taken the car around and to Meetung, pick Lachlan up at Meetung, and then go to Paynesville. That's all coming together. Happy days, and it's an absolutely beautiful day. Sensationally beautiful. The rigging wire on my boat is called Hammer Pro Strand. It's a higher grade wire which allows you to have smaller diameter wires for the same braking strain. It's not a bad idea. So for just the rigging, it cost about $11,500 for the rigging wire and all the fittings, and I replaced all the turnbuckles. So while we had the mast down, we did a thorough mast inspection to check for any defects, and we also replaced the topping lift and the main halyard sheet with Spectra. Yeah, just picked up all my rigging from Paynesville. So on the front of the boat, I've got the headsail furler sitting the furler's on board with the new wire down the middle of it. You just got to be careful about all these little joints, and that you don't bend the furler too much, because a little joint like that is held together with a few screws, and they don't like being bent. I found the 2 grub screws that hold that joint together, if they're not firmly seated and they're slightly backed out, prevents the headsail slider to come down, and therefore you wouldn't be able to get your headsail down if you wanted to in an emergency. I don't know what you think, but it probably paid to check that every now and again. So the new rigging, open turn barrels instead of closed. I changed the turn barrels because the old ones are perfect. That makes a lot of sense. The old ones are perfect. They're closed, but I don't know how old they are. Just don't know how old, so I thought change them, but $300 later for a set of turn barrels, like the whole thing is $300 and something. Yeah, the expense is quite high, and with the current retail conditions, it just keeps going that way. With service and everything like included, it's yeah, well, we get accustomed to it, I suppose. Right, that'll do. See ya. Before the mast lift, we had a couple of little jobs to finish off. The tricolour light and anchor light had to go on, and the boomerang stay you see there had a 7mm wire go through it, and it had to be swaged on site. So Webster Marine Repair come down and swaged it on site just before we lifted the mast, and also gave us a hand with their expertise to place the mast. The upper and lower shrouds were positioned on the spreader clamps by measurement, and then once the mast was up, we made sure the check was that the spreader must be in its faired position, and it worked really well. Sorry about that. I was just, oh, no. I thought this has got to fucking bend this curler in a minute. We've got it all the way from Painesville. Do we want to get a couple of ropes on it, or? Huh? To stop that spinning around, I mean. Put a tag line on it. Yeah, I'll go. After a couple of fleeting moments lifting the mast off the trestles, using the block of wood as a pivot point, we got the mast up to the boat and put the electrical cables down through the mast step, attached the forestay and the backstay, and while the crane was holding the weight, and then attached all the inners and shrouds and did them all up to the pre-measured positions, and then checked the mast from the front for straightness, and then had a quick look at that. We got about 80mm mast bend and about 150 or so mils of mast rake. And then for me, it was off back down to Painesville to see a retired shipwright who was helping me tune it. And so we basically went down there and tensioned all the wires using a tensiometer to a figure that he was happy with, and they were both, and all the left and rights were all tuned to the same tension. Like, for instance, the upper cap shroud was tensioned to 37, and then the opposite one was tensioned to 37, and then the lower one was done the same, but not to 37, but to what he thought was right. So now, after having done a few miles, it then gets tensioned up half a turn to a turn, so that they all remain the same. And then that's that job done. And thanks for watching. Yeah, and this video is by no means a how to do it video. It's a more of a how I did it video. I love doing these new jobs, but I'm not an expert, and I would really like to hear your feedback, and so that I can learn a bit more as well. Thanks again. See you next time.